Lamarcus Aldridge has signed with the Brooklyn Nets. The game is officially broken. In the words of Jadakiss, kiss the game goodbye.
Kiss the game goodbye.
It's over. It's a wrap. Kenny Smith, it's over.
It's over! It's over, ladies and gentlemen!
It's over. Guys, this is crazy. This is basically a groundbreaking signing. And the Nets have officially turned themselves into the Team USA. They're Team USA, where individual accolades no longer matter. It's about the team. That's that, and that's final. What led to this signing, guys? Insecurity. Insecurity led to the signing. These players are insecure to the point where they're willing to take $1 million. They could get $20, $30 million here. I know Lamarcus Aldridge got bought out, but they could get more money on top of more money and still compete for a championship. They rather take a huge discount in their prime or a little bit past their prime. Now, in the middle of their prime, take a big discount and say, F it, I'm going to take this discount and I'm going to go try to win a championship. DeMarcus Cousins, this is my trump card.
I knew what my ace was, and
I'm going to go sign with the Warriors. I'm going to do... Guys, there's no guarantees. And what's crazy within itself is like, when guys go and bandwagon to win a title, nobody remembers you. The last guy, and this is no disrespect to Gary Payton or nothing like that. Gary Payton is the last guy that basically, and he did it right, actually. He went to the tail end of his career, he went to Miami, won a championship with Shaq. But if you got these little mercenary guys, they're going to win one title here, one title there, nobody's going to remember Swaggy P's NBA champion. No disrespect to Swaggy P. I love Swaggy P. The swag is dripping.
Absolutely. It's very, very special.
The ring, an oracle.
It's dripping. But nobody's going to remember that. We only remember bus drivers. We only remember the LeBrons. We don't remember the KD. KD won 2 titles with Golden State, by the way. MVPs both times. We only remember the Steph Currys. We only remember the Klay Thompson. We only remember guys that was there from the beginning, put the bricks in the building. We don't remember a guy that gets a championship riding a pine and he was supposed to be somewhere else doing it big. This is a good example. Glenn Rice, Glenn Rice is one of the nastiest ball players ever. Played with the Lakers, the 2000 run. Won a championship. And he said, you know what, this ain't for me. Because I'm not going to be one of those guys that basically Kobe and Shaq is going to be shining. And I'm a franchise player. I'm a good player. I'm not going to be one of those guys. He left immediately after he won a title. And nobody really remembers, like, hey, Glenn Rice was an NBA champion. Most people like me, we remember Glenn Rice was nasty. That's all we remember. We don't remember, like, oh, he won a title. No, we don't remember that. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, Lamarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, enjoy it now because later on it's going to be bittersweet because you weren't a bus driver. This is the Skip Bayless effect. This is the Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley effect. It's like Skip, Shaq says guys don't have rings and stuff like that.
Rings up here. Hey, listen, tell you something. If it weren't for Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant, we never even heard of you.
There's 9 rings up here, and you ain't a part of that edition. How about that?
That pierces a chord in these players, young players' souls. They're like, I don't want to be like Barkley. I don't want to be like Reggie and this stuff like that. Guys, it's okay if you didn't win a ring. What matters is, were you in the fight to win a ring? Did you make it to the finals? Were you one of the main guys? That's what matters. People can talk smack about Charles Barkley all they want. All you can know is, he won the MVP. 93, I think it was 93, took his team to the NBA Finals. He lost against Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the GOAT. If you lose against the GOAT, what's the shame in that? Reggie Miller lost to the Bulls. He took his team to the finals, lost to Kobe and Shaq. You lost to guys that three-peated. What is the shame in that? There's no shame in that. There's only 4 MVPs in the league that never won a title. That's Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson, Karl Malone, and Steve Nash. You think anybody's going to begrudge those guys' careers because they won a title? Please, please. Karl Malone probably is the second best power forward of all time. Probably, because he's up there. He got all the numbers. He's like number 2 in scoring. He just doesn't have a championship. And that's fine, because we could respect that. He went to back-to-back championship attempts, and he lost. That's fine. Anybody can respect that, guys. What you can't respect is a guy taking $1 million to go join a team that already has 4 NBA All-Stars. Here's another thing that we got to understand. Nets cannot lose. Remember Jay-Z said, I will not lose?
Please repeat after me. There's only one rule. I will not lose.
Nets cannot lose at all. It is all. If they lose, this will be catastrophic to all their careers. Matter of fact, if you think about it like this, with KD and Toe and everybody like that, they cannot lose one game in the playoffs. They lose one game in the playoffs, the sky will be falling on their heads. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll be like, well, they won a title, but the run wasn't impressive. And that's going to kill the reputation. None of these guys can be MVP. They can't win no defensive player. All that MVPs, any kind of awards, they cannot win them. They just hurt themselves to the point where they're so good that everybody's going to expect them to. We're not going to look at James Harden anymore in the MVP race. We're not going to look at any of those guys in any kind of race. So any individual accolades, the thing that, and that's funny because the thing KD was running away from in Golden State, like people saying you can't win the title because your team is stacked, goes to the Nets and the Nets stack the team again. And then, so like if KD wins a title, people still won't consider him better than LeBron James. Even though he smoked LeBron James in 2 NBA finals prior. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. The thing that you're running away from is the thing that catches up to you the most. The NBA has a huge level of hypocrisy. And I understand that, they blocked the CP3 and trade to come to the Los Angeles Lakers because at that point the league owned the team. But you got to put something in place where you can't have this happen where a team, like I said before, they can't lose. They have 5 franchise players on one team. All of these guys are in their prime or just a tiny bit past it. They're in their prime. 5 franchise players. Kyrie Irving is a franchise player. James Harden is a franchise player. Kevin Durant is a franchise player. Lamarcus Aldridge is a franchise player. Blake Griffin is a franchise player. They have 41 NBA All-Star appearances amongst themselves. How can you allow this to happen? Like that, there should be something like, no, the competitive balance would be thrown off. Like there's something about the whole CP3 thing. Do you think there's going to be any way to compete? There's no competitive balance here. There's no give. I understand Lamarcus Aldridge doing this because this is his right. I just can't imagine the fallout from this. Like, guys, the NBA, in the next CBA, they're going to hammer these guys hard. They're going to be like, if you guys want to stack teams and with free agency, now you're going to have to pay huge penalties. They're going to make it where it's not worth it. See, everything has a effect, a correlation. So, Lamarcus Aldridge signs, Blake Griffin signs to the Nets. There's going to be a huge correlation later, which is going to take place, and it's going to hurt the league like nobody's business. And this is what bothers me about the whole signing. The team is only built for now.
Right now.
Blake Griffin 1 year. Lamarcus Aldridge 1 year. They have money tied up in KD, Kyrie, and Durant. So what's going to happen later down the line? Players are going to start turning these teams into like tricks or Johns in the world of prostitution. They're going to get what they want from the team, win the title, they're going to move on and try to stack another team. It's just going to be a continuing effect. Like, nobody's going to stay at the team anymore. And what's going to happen is now NBA teams are going to make it more difficult for you to sign these guys in a veterans minimum. They're going to raise the cap or incur a penalty for these teams that's doing that. This is all great for now, but, the team is built for now.
It's the right now.
The Nets are not going to have a future. They're going to be good for like maybe 3 years, 4 years, and then after that, it's a wrap. They're going to be like the New York Rangers and the Blazers of '77. They're going to be like the New York Mets that had an awesome team, and then all you're doing is reliving the glory days all the time. Like, that's what they're going to be, and I don't know if that's good for them, for that franchise. I just don't know, and that's just my opinion because now you're looking at something they're not building anymore. And nobody is talking about this, and they need to. Is Kevin Durant's injury graver than what we think? The hamstring or the Achilles or whatever he's got going in totality. Is it graver than what we think? Because you got to think about it like this. We haven't seen him play since early February. We can say he's getting right and stuff like that, but are all these signings, like all these desperation signings and getting James Harden and everything, is that just to say like, hey, like we don't know if we can have KD 100% for the whole season? So we're gonna play him in the playoffs only and see what happens. Because if that's the case, that really, 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 really makes me sad. Because we wanted to see KD go out with a bang and ball out and everything. But if they're doing all these signings and all these trades because it's like, hey, you know, we don't know what the status of KD, then Houston, we got a real big problem. Because let's just say you have James Harden, Kyrie, Lamarcus Aldridge, and Blake Griffin, but you don't have KD. I still don't know if that's going to be enough to win you a title. Yeah, you can get out the East, but whatever team you're going to play in the West, whether it's the Lakers, Portland gets their act together, whatever team it is that you face in the West, they're going to be more put together than a team with a bunch of mercenaries like the Brooklyn Nets. So this is just like very interesting to see how it plays out, but make no mistake about it, there will be massive penalties for this signing in the future. Mark my words. Hoops Junction, Hoops Meets Hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.